How to Become a Modern-Day Treasure Hunter by Elaine Harries. In May of 2000, Dave Ulmer of Beaver Creek, Oregon, started a hobby that now has over 1 million participants in 200 countries around the globe. GPS technology has raised the hobby formerly known as orienteering or letterboxing to new heights in popularity. I have 3 main points to discuss, and that would be: how did geocaching start, what is needed to start geocaching, and where can one find resources to participate in this hobby. Okay, first treasure hunting was called letterboxing. It started in the 1800s in England. According to author Karen Dems in her article, How Did Geocaching Start?, the seeker follows a series of clues from place to place, and the first one to solve the last clue and find the prize is the winner. On the site fororienteering.com, a history of orienteering. In Scandinavia in the 19th century, orienteering began as a military exercise. In 1919, it became a competitive sport in Sweden, and it involves following a topographical map using man-made features and also natural features and compasses. So combining these technologies, in May of 2000, GPS technology was released for civilian use, and geocaching was born. Now that we understand where it came from, how does one get started becoming a cacher or a modern-day treasure hunter? What are the basics that you need to start geocaching? A handheld GPS unit of some kind is necessary to do this sport. Smartphones that have GPS navigation, like the iPhone 3G or Android phones with GPS apps, work well. The other option would be a handheld GPS unit, and this is most common. Garmin, Magellan, and Lawrence all are manufacturers of units that are used for geocaching. Most experts do agree that the Garmin is the most user-friendly for beginners. When you take the GPS, you actually enter the latitude and longitude coordinates to help find the hidden caches. Okay, and that leads up to some terminology. In the online article on geocache.com called What the Heck is Geocaching?, which by far I believe is the most compact and complete single resource that I was able to find, that the different terms that are used. The first is the cache, and that's the actual hidden treasure that you're looking for. There are several different kinds. Traditional are large and have items that you can trade and a logbook. Nanos and micros are much smaller and often only have a logbook. A multi is a cache that has 2 or more stages. And puzzle caches involve solving puzzles before you even get the coordinates to the cache. So they can be very elaborate. Some terms, some acronyms. CITO means cache in, trash out. An event is where several geocachers will get together and they'll post it online and they'll network or do a CITO, which means cache in, trash out event. TFTF means thanks for the find. F2F means first to find. A virtual cache is a location that's actually, it's a location and not an actual object that you're looking for, historical marker or place. And when you find your cache, actually find your hidden treasure, you have to be careful not to be seen by people who don't geocache, and these people are known as muggles. And a cache has been muggled if it is stumbled on or taken or ruined by muggles. So travel bugs are also interesting. They are actual, like a dog tag or a coin that actually has a tracking number on it that you can watch online. I know my parents watched one go from the Midwest all the way to England, so it's kind of fun to log on and see where it ends up next. And then there is the dreaded DNF, which means did not find. There are times when, no matter how hard you look, you don't find what you're looking for. So some basic things are, caches are always done on public lands. You need to cache in and trash out. You always leave your locations better than when you found it. Don't go on private property. Don't let muggles see you actually accessing the cache, and don't use anything perishable that animals will be attracted to. So those are some things, some etiquette, if you will. So now that you are ready to begin your first official treasure hunt, let's talk about what kind of support is available. I think the best resources can be found online. Either geo-cache.com or groundspeak.com are both communities where you can create you create yourself a name and that you use for caching and an account, and then you track everything and you access caches through these sites, and they are the best resources, I believe. But if you absolutely need to have a book, in her article, 9 Great Geocaching Books, Julie Henning recommended some titles. Complete Idiot's Guide to Geocaching, which is, she says, a must-have for beginner and intermediate geocachers. Geocaching Handbook is more of a human interest view, although it does have a very thorough cachinary, which is like a geocaching dictionary that is interesting. And finally, The Joy of Geocaching by Paula and Dana Gillen, a husband and wife team, wrote more of a kind of their experience with geocaching and a Y2 geocache, kind of an advocacy for the actual sport. So there are several excellent resources out there. And these are just a few suggestions. Check online, the local library or bookstore, for more information about this treasure-seeking hobby. Hopefully I've been able to shed some light on what geocaching is and how you too can become a modern-day treasure hunter. One last word of caution, though. Being a treasure hunter is not for the faint of heart. There will be caches where you get skunked. There will be days when you just can't seem to get accurate satellite signal for anything. There'll be days when it feels like there is a neon sign with an arrow pointing to the cache. But above all, beware. This hobby is highly addictive.